All right, welcome to another episode of Getting Real in the Field. And this is the show where we talk about all the things that you hate to do, which is following up, making phone calls, calling people, texting, and sending out emails, and just doing your freaking job. And I'm your host, JP Fluellen, and this is 𝐂𝐎𝐏𝐄. Dude, I feel like every time it's been like forever.
I know. We're just missing too much fun here, man.
I know. Too much, man.
You gotta stop traveling. I've got to stop traveling over the weekends, man.
I know. Yeah, we need to take this show on the road. We need to do like some conventions and then like take the podcast with us.
That's right. Well, I've been listening to a podcast. It's called Smartless. I don't know if you heard of it.
I think I have, but I don't remember who the host is.
Yeah, it's like Jason Bateman.
Yes.
Guy Sean from Will and
Grace. Yes.
And Will Arnett too.
Oh, Will Arnett's hilarious.
Yes.
He's the Batman from the Lego movie.
That's right. And so
I'm Batman, man. I'm
the
Batman.
three of them would invite a guest every week. They would take the show on the road. And I thought it's just hilarious just hearing them talk too. We should do that, right? We should just
yes
throughout the country. But I don't know.
We need to get some guests that we can just like roast every week. It'd be great.
There we go.
Hey, if you guys want to get roasted live on the show, come on and make a comment, and we'd be happy to roast you. Seriously, like give us like your top 10 list, and then we'll just like do some like polls or something, like what's better, Reese's peanut butter cups or Oreos, or chocolate or vanilla.
There you go. Okay. Well, hey, so for tonight, folks, we actually have a serious and important topic to talk about tonight. Real estate scams and frauds, and been hearing it from a couple of agents, so we felt we'll tackle it tonight and talk about it. So what do you think, JP?
Yes, it is running rampant right now. Like the amount of sophistication that goes into some of these, people just need to just think of, these guys were like actually getting real jobs. Like just think of how productive they could be with the amount of sophistication they're putting into some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, our first tip for real estate agents is to protect themselves from their clients.
Okay. I've got one. So I say, verify your identity and credentials of your clients. Whether it's a buyer or a seller, confirm who they are and check for any red flags. I've heard stories, and I'm sure you have too. I recently got one client that had a lead that was talking about selling their piece of land, and almost went through an entire deal. Was going to got a buyer ready to buy the place from this seller until things started sounding a little fishy, and it came to be that this person really didn't have the title of the place, and and it was a scam. So I don't know if you've run into this yourself, JP, but that's something that's super important to check the credentials early on and not wait till the very final steps. I mean, I'm glad the title company did the title search and all that, and that's super important because that raised the red flag there. But do you have any thoughts or tips or experience to share?
Yeah, so the biggest one is that they're using online lead generation companies as a conduit to get a hold of agents. Because I don't know if there's a correlation between agents that are willing to do whatever it takes and online lead generation, but typically they're using online lead generation and then heavy accents, and you'll hear it like, they'll just use a heavy accent, like, oh, look at my property, and then next thing you know, it's, they're saying, but usually if you ask very specific questions like, Oh, well, can you just confirm the address on the county assessor's website? That's one way to figure out if it's like
Yeah.
a scam, or hey, let's just do a Zoom call just to make sure that everything's copacetic on our end. And
Yeah.
usually they'll hightail it from there.
Oh, yeah. No, you know what? You're bringing a couple great tips because um if you do like the Zoom or just kind of set an appointment to show up, you just remind me in an agent exactly similar situation. It was an online lead, and the person said, "Hey, I'm from out of town. I'm coming in to buy list, and buy a house, and here are all the places that I'm looking at. I've been pre-qualified and all that." And then when the agent asked for his credentials or information about his credit score and stuff like that, boom, gone, disappeared. No show,
Yep.
no phone calls or anything.
Yep. Another thing you can do is if it's if it's a local piece of land and the phone number, you can check the phone number on a website called
Oh,
Spy Dialer. And if you type it in there, it'll tell you the origin of the phone number, whether it's through a carrier or if it's a VoIP. So typically, if it's a VoIP, which is voice over internet protocol,
yeah.
calling, it'll typically come up as a VoIP, and then it'll say no records found. So that's usually a good indicator that there's probably something interesting going on here. And so, and if it's a PO box rather than a physical address, I mean, these are
Yep.
other little things that are on the tax assessor's website. Check those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also just in that, if they in the off chance that they do the Zoom call, have them show you their ID. Just have
Mm,
them show it right up to the screen.
okay. That's a good tip. I will say one more when you talk about voice over IP as well too. Um, online leads that say, "Hey, I don't use the phone very much. Reach me through WhatsApp."
Oh yeah,
That's
classic,
another red flag too. Not to say
classic.
WhatsApp is a bad platform, but a lot of scammers want to get you onto WhatsApp so that they can, basically start tagging you, selling your information very quickly as well too, right?
Yeah, and the
It's
other
not
thing too is
traceable.
WhatsApp protects the call because it's
Not
encrypted, so it's
traceable.
hard to get a hold of whoever's on the other end of it.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's a great one. Okay, well let's talk about online listings. You know, I say that agents should be wary of properties listed at unrealistically low prices. You know, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Um, and you really should use the MLS to make sure to validate, because that, at least on the other end, you've got a real estate agent that you can kind of rely on and that's been vetted, right? And hopefully they're not being scammed themselves too.
Right. The one thing that goes along with that as well is typically if you've got a seller that's the house is paid for and they want to list at an unrealistically low price, then and on top of that it's a distance closing.
Yeah.
They're not in town and they want to close long distance. That's usually a good indicator that it's probably heading down the scammer's lane there.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I've got a couple of agents that I do work with. They work with a lot of international clients. So if you're not familiar with that process and you don't deal with a lot of international clients, I say try to partner with an agent that does have the experience, that knows the ins and outs of it so that you don't
Yeah.
get screwed. I don't, like, I know some of it, but I don't know enough, right? And I know like a couple of agents that does that, especially working with like folks from Asia as well too, that you speak the language, you know the process, what information to look for. And and if not, work, if you don't have an agent, find a lawyer that does specialize in international real estate too.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing is just stay in your lane. I mean, part of NAR's ethics is that you're supposed to stay within your expertise. Otherwise, it's
Yep,
considered unethical to, go get into real estate that you're not familiar with.
absolutely. That's a great tip, actually. That's a really good one. Okay, well, on moving on, along that path as well too. Like, I think it's wire frauds, wire transfers, right? They, scammers be sometimes, to this day it still happens, and I'm surprised because as agents you now know, you know we always like are being taught, hey, be aware of wire frauds and information like that, right? But I still see agents still like being scammed, and it often happens when they don't pay attention to this. They get the email, they don't think too much, and then it's like, oh yeah, okay, this is the information. They don't take the time, and in their rush they miss out. And so I always say, take the time to read the emails, read the that are coming from your clients as well too, with wiring instructions, things like that, so that you're confirming the details with them before you actually do the wire transfer, right?
Yeah, and then just putting, wire transfer disclosures in your paperwork, you know, um, put getting, the disclaimers on all of your items. So that way at least you're putting out some warning signs, if it does get down the path of signing a listing agreement or making an offer, things like that. The other thing too is if it just doesn't feel right, it's probably that your body or your sixth sense is telling you, something just doesn't smell right with this thing. And
Yeah,
then bring someone else in on it. Don't feel like you got to do it by yourself and just navigate these things because, just because you don't see the red flags, you might want to just bring it up and be like, hey, I got this seller that, whatever, whatever. What are your thoughts on it? And maybe they've already had that experience before and said, nope, scam, automatic.
yeah, yeah. I totally. Um, Speaking of that, protection too, I think that it is super important for agents to spend a little bit of money on cybersecurity. So, what do I mean by that? Things like making sure your antivirus is up to date on your PCs. Things like also, getting in terms of like spam protection for your emails, to kind of scan through that kind of stuff also, and just being savvy with um the emails. Where are they coming from? I mean, it, gosh, people are really creative these days. Scammers are really creative and coming up with like a lot of like, hey, click here, oh hey, I've got this. I mean, even to like packages, like, I've got documents coming to you, can you please
Hmm.
click on this to kind of reship this, and so forth. Especially if they know that you're a real estate agent, that you might get some of these kind of scams to kind of get you to provide them the information.
Yeah, those are called phishing scams.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, there's like hey, I sent you an offer on this property. I need you to click on the attachment, and then, it's a fake attachment that's actually a link to something else. The one that's there's a couple of good ones going on around Facebook right now with
Couple good ones, really.
yeah, so there's one with Facebook Marketplace where they're
Yeah,
like, "Hey, I'm going to send you a code and then I need you to confirm this code." And they send you a link and then they tell you to put the code in there, and then the link is literally just this, it's a phishing link. And then the other one that I haven't seen in a while, which has been coming back around, which is, "Hey, have you heard about the government refund?" And it's a chat bot, and then it takes you to a website that's fake too, to try to
gotcha.
get you to, and I don't know, some of these things I don't even understand where it's going.
Yeah, 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 no, for
So,
sure.
but
So
but scammers, the reason why they're scammers is because they got all the time in the world.
yeah, puzzles me, like you said earlier, like, if they can be so creative, they should do something that's useful rather than trying to scam people.
I know.
I just don't understand that
The
part. But
fake buyer one just like blows me away because I'm just like, I don't understand where this is going if you can't close, you
But
know?
somehow, maybe 1 out of 100 they do close. I don't know.
But how would they close if there's no funds?
No, because they will wire it, and then by the time you find out, it'll be too late.
Oh, like it's a fake wire kind of thing?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do a fake wire.
No, you could actually do a real wire to an account, but it doesn't matter. By the time you wire it, it's adios to your money at that point in time.
Right, but I'm saying like the fake buyer.
Yeah. Oh,
If I make an offer on your property and I'm a fake buyer,
got it. Yes.
and I get it under contract and then I can never produce a prequal,
I can't
like that is,
say
I don't understand it. Or hey, I'm a cash buyer of up to $1 million. You get it under contract and then you
right,
ask for proof of funds.
right.
And maybe they provide a fake proof of funds, but then
Yep,
but
yep.
then where does it go if the funds never actually appear?
The one that you just talked about, the marketplace, like, hey, I'm going to send you a code to verify. You know what they're doing? Actually, a lot of them, and I found that out recently, is that they're basically creating a new account. They're overseas and they're creating a new account, and they want a phone number to be able to kind of verify a local number. So let's say, like, I'm going to create a new Gmail account that is based in the US, for example, right? So that I can do marketing and stuff with that. So then I would or create a scamming account. So I would say, hey, JP, I'm going to communicate back to you on the Facebook Marketplace so that I'm just to make sure I'm legitimately that you're a legit buyer or interested in this, and you're not trying to scam me. I'm going to send you a code. Can you verify that for me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then so then you
Yeah,
take
because they
it back.
text it to you. They text you the
Exactly.
code, and then
Tell me
you
what code you
verify it by
have.
texting back or whatever.
Exactly. And then you validate the scam account that they're building, and you just got suckered into part of it. And they
Now
now
your
have the
phone
phone
number's
number.
been compromised, and now you
Yeah.
got to switch your phone
But be
number.
careful of that kind of stuff. Okay. So really good points. I hope that, if anything, as an agent, if you ever suspect something is going wrong, and like JP said, your spidey sense goes up, you should reach out to your local real estate association or the commission, just to kind of get some guidance on what to do, right? You can also consult with your designated broker or your managing broker to see if they've encountered similar situations as well too, just so that you get the support that you need, because we've given you some tips and some ideas, but this doesn't cover everything, right? And I hope that you find this useful, but get some help.
Yeah, and remember that these guys are always getting more and more crafty.
Yes.
And if there's misspelt words, bad grammar, no proper punctuation, and it's or a random text out of the blue and people asking you to get off a certain platform and onto another one, that's probably a scam.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and check with your local association, because a lot of local associations now are providing a service called Forewarn,
Mm,
which is a way to check someone's identity before you
okay.
start to do business with them. So check that out. And yeah, so if people want to know more about how they can do marketing the legit way, Keck,
That's right. The legit way.
how can
And
people get a
no
hold of you?
scams. No scams involved.
That's right. That's
We
right.
we deal, I mean, honestly, and I'm glad you brought it up. I mean, from a marketing, with what we do at Fieldnotes, and we help, people with like lead generation, we see a lot of those, WhatsApp or some of those scams itself too, and we filter them out, a lot of it. So if you want to get a hold of me and talk some more about this, how to get legit leads and not be scammed in the process as well too, please reach out to me. Check out my website, fieldnotes.ai, or you can reach out to me directly at 425-740-0260. Feel free to text me as well too. How about you, JP?
All right. Well, if you want to get a hold of me directly, you can just call 307-772-1184 and we can have an old fashioned conversation.
There you go.
And if you need to check out my identity, I'm more than happy to do a Zoom call with you. So just so you're aware. I can give you my license number. I can give you whatever you need. And or you can shoot me a text at the same number, 307-772-1184. And or you can just go to the Google machine, type in JP Fluella. I'm everywhere. Just shoot me a DM, and I'm happy to have a conversation about what's going on over here, over the Titan Real Estate team at Real.
And for any scammers listening to this, you can ask JP for any ID. He just offered you that. So ask him for a social security number too.
Yeah, do that. It's 555-55-5555. So, in case you're wondering. So,
That's awesome. With that, we wrap up an episode of Gang Rio in the Field.
Peace.